What's going on, everybody? This is Farcry 5's map editor, and I went ahead and stayed up, and when it came out, went ahead and just gave a little peek at the editor, and I have to say right off the bat, this editor is really awesome. I love the new tools, the features. Especially love all the objects, especially the generic objects with the different textures you can choose for them. I mean, you can really, literally build your own world, to its fullest. And anything you can create, or come up with, you can create in your map. Unfortunately, what I want to do in this video, though, real quick, is talk about some problems that I have with this editor. While it's an amazing editor, there's only a couple things so far that really has bummed me down when I was actually taking a look at the editor last night, and that being, let's go ahead and jump in real quick, the budget. So there is a strict limit on the budget for PC now, and I am on PC, by the way. And what I mean by strict, it's just like the console versions. But I'll show you all an example real quick. Now, I don't think the error message windows will pop up on the video, but I'll let you know when they do. So let's go ahead and go to vehicles. Actually, let's just take a look at the budget real quick. Now, here's the budget. Let's raise this up. Look at all this. We got memory, textures, AI. Look at all these different budgets. Now, if you go over the limit of any of these budgets here, you will not only be able to publish your map, you will not be able to even test your map. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. Let's lower that down. So let's go to gameplay, objects, and then we'll go to vehicles. We'll do ground vehicles real quick. So we'll do land, and we'll show off a little bit of the vehicles too while we're at it. So we'll do a little sports car there, and some muscle cars. I know there's a Mustang somewhere. There it is. A little Mustang, little coupe. There's box trucks, and of course there's fuel trucks. And oh, look who's back. Yeah, I don't want to see my map, Okay, so we have off-road SUV. Okay, maximum number of vehicles reach for this grid section. Remove extra objects or add them to a different grid section. Okay. Too many vehicles, you will not be able to validate or publish your map. And then it asks me if I want to continue, which I don't know why I would, considering I can't do anything anyways, but yeah, we'll continue. So let's go ahead and add a Jeep with a turret. And let's add one more. Let's add this car here. Looks pretty cool. And let's go ahead and try to test our map. Now, I don't think you guys can see this message, but it says error. The object budget has been exceeded. And it gives you two options. It takes you to the map validation, or you can hit cancel. There needs to be a third option that says test map anyways, but there's not. And I don't know why. So we can go to map validation, and it'll show you the object budget has been exceeded. So that's a huge disappointment for me, especially since I like building large maps, and really like to. I mean, I understand they have to have a budget, obviously, because they want to make sure the gameplay is smooth and everything, but when we've already had two games where we could put a large amount of AI, large amount of vehicles down in the editor, and the gameplay still runs fine, I don't understand as to why we have to strict the PC at this point. I just did a few maps and videos showing a few maps where people have put hundreds of AI within a small corridor or around their map, and the gameplay was fine. It was smooth. Like there was nothing wrong with it, and I just don't understand as to why we have to do this now in Far Cry 5. So yeah, I mean, at least make it to where I can at least test my map. You know, I mean, in Far Cry 3, I know I couldn't do or publish vehicles and AI and PvP, obviously, in Far Cry 3, but at least when I build my maps, I can play them, you know, by myself. I can make these maps for me, or, you know, if somebody happened to be over, a friend, you know, they can test my maps and play them as well. I actually have a cousin who was always interested in playing my maps, and he actually ended up getting a laptop. And so he got Far Cry 4 for his laptop, and we went ahead and played one of my maps, which it was a map that obviously went way over the budget. There's a lot of AI, and he doesn't have the best laptop either. You know, it's not a real high operating laptop. And I asked him, and I said, how was the gameplay? And he said it was fine. Like, there wasn't really any lag at all. So I don't know why, you know, especially for PC, why we are being really strict about the budget here. I mean, as you can see, I put down, I think, around 7 vehicles, 6 or 7 vehicles before the error messages pop up. So really, I mean, it's not a lot. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second thing that that I was kind of disappointed by. So we'll go to AI. And so you remember in Far Cry 4, we could have vehicle AI as reinforcements. Unfortunately, that is no more. Now, I have tried placing a vehicle down, or actually, well, I tried a helicopter. So I put down a helicopter, and I wanted to see if an AI bot would get into it, and that didn't happen. So it could have been that I put down the wrong AI bot, probably, but there's no reinforcement vehicles, and I was really hoping for airplanes and helicopters, and but there's not even ground vehicles either. So that was kind of, I thought that was just a little disappointing. So the next thing is a small map for airplanes. Originally, I wanted a bigger map size because, like I said, I enjoyed making free roam based maps. I just want a little bit more extra space to spread everything out. This map is the same size as Far Cry 3 and 4. It really looks like. And I actually seen a fellow who was testing out an airplane in his map, and he's not familiar with the PC controls or anything, and so he was trying to get up in the air. Well, he finally managed to get up in the air, but unfortunately he crashed into the invisible wall at the edge of the map. And that was another reason as to why I wanted a larger map, because I had this theory that airplanes wouldn't function very well with the map size that we have, knowing that there's invisible barriers. So we'll go ahead and get in this airplane. I'm gonna go ahead and accelerate. It doesn't take much to get up in the air, so we'll go ahead and fly high. Get up in the air a little bit. As just, oh, am I about to hit the edge? Turn. Okay. So as you can see, I'm gonna have to like constantly keep turning the plane. I mean, you can go straight for a little bit, but eventually you will need to turn before hitting the edge of the map. But here's a good example of this. So say somebody is using the bomber on the plane, you know, and they're attacking a base, you know, and they're dropping some bombs. And maybe the editor didn't think about it, but he put his map on the edge. Well, you end up getting something like this, where you crash into the wall, and you'll probably die. So there's two things they can do to fix this. Make it to where airplanes and helicopters just go through the invisible wall. Nobody crashes into it. Helicopters and airplanes only. Or give us a bigger map, which, because of the budget, is pointless. So we'll go back to the editor. But that's pretty much it so far of the only complaints. Overall, this is a great map editor. You know, I really enjoy the new vehicles and the objects. Just there's a lot of objects, but it's very disappointing that I won't be able to put down everything. And it really, it feels like it's going to put a restriction on my creative flow, because I'll have this idea to make a map, and I know if I get into making a map, I want somewhere along the way I am going to get that error message, and I'm going to be very disappointed when that happens. It was the whole reason why I went to PC, because I knew there was no limitations on the PC, so I was like, cool, I can build what I'm thinking literally, and there's not going to be a problem. And at the time when I first did it on PC, I was wondering, is the game going to lag? But it didn't. It ran fine, perfectly fine. But as far as the budget goes, I mean, I know they need to have a budget limit for maybe the PvP style maps, obviously, because you don't want players complaining like, oh, the map was too much and it was laggy and that's how this guy killed me. I hated it. And but as far as like the solo and co-op based maps, there should not be no limitation on those. I mean, it's players versus AI, you know, and obviously we have proof from previous installments that it works fine, it runs fine, you know. Give players a recommended budget, and then let them decide when the game's not playable. And then of course, if they publish the map and it's not playable for other people, let those people say, hey, your map has too much stuff, and it makes the gameplay really laggy. You may need to go back in the editor and delete some stuff, and then they can, you know, of course, re-upload their map. But other than that, this is a really great map editor. And as far as like the vehicles, there's a good amount of vehicles, and the land, you can change the color of the vehicles too. Just place them on the map, go to object preferences. So you can do black, and then you can do red. Very cool. I like that a lot. Then we have, of course, some of the generic shapes. Now this is really awesome. I like the generic shapes. So you can do doors, put down doorways, and then you can, they have air ducts as well, so you can, for those James Bond type of maps. And then we go down lower, we got platforms, which is pretty much the floor, so you can go ahead and add a floor to your building. And the cool part about, what is this? Is this a floor? Okay, so but the cool part about these generic shapes, I mean, you can really do anything. The stairs, you can just add them right into just any point and really design your own buildings. And the cool part is you can change the skin. So you can do brick, cinder block, as you can see there. And then you can do brick stone. You can do just a regular yellow if you wanted to. You can do glass bulletproof. Oh, that looks pretty cool. And then you could do painted, you know, metal. Yeah, the list goes on. Plastic, if you wanted to. Stone, gravel. But yeah, it's fantastic. This is a really great feature, and I didn't even expect anything like this in Far Cry 5. So I'm really glad that this is here. And also, we can go to show you some more cool stuff, or at least what I thought was cool. You can add traffic lights to the map. We'll type this in real quick. Traffic. Then you can do traffic lights. So if you build those city maps, you can. They have an old school traffic light. There's a light bulb on top of it. I don't know what that means, because this doesn't light up or anything. And there's no object preference for it. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And then of course, if you like trains, we now have a good selection of trains. So train containers, and then of course we have the tanks. We have the train railroad crossings, as well as the locomotive. Where's it at? So we'll type in loco. And here's the locomotive. And there's actually lights on it too that flash. There's no object preferences to turn this off or not, so But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good stuff, and then Watch Dogs has some pretty cool things too. So we'll go to Watch Dogs real quick, and they have a lot of cool road signs. We'll go to Objects, and then we'll do Transport. You go to Transport, you'll do branding and signs. So there's different signs that you can add, and you can probably use these signs to help guide players. And we have the highway sign. I thought this was really neat. We have the curved road signs and detour, so that's really cool. You could have a player go through a cave and the cave collapse, or the cave is collapsed, and then you can have this sign stuck somewhere, detour, and go that way. So yeah, this is really awesome. Of course, we have the stop sign that's back, and then the construction road sign there. But yeah, tons of great objects. I'll get more into the details of them pretty soon. Just right now, I wanted to give my initial final thoughts on the editor. And like I said, I really like this editor a lot, but I just have a feeling that it's going to put a burden on my creative process, because I know I'm gonna get into a map and really make it detailed, and I'm gonna forget that there's a budget, and I'm just gonna hit that budget, and then I can't do anything. I can't even make this map for myself. So hopefully they change that in the future. I know it's not a huge deal for most people, but for any hardcore map editor fans who really like to make large scale maps, or just anything really on that type of scale, and make it really detailed, they may have the same problem as I have with it. But so far, only 3 things that kind of bother me about the editor, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is really awesome so far that I've found. But I'll definitely be making more videos about it, so you guys stay tuned for that. And I think that's going to be it for this one. So you guys take care now. See ya.